And we'll bring you more, by the way, of that in our late bulletin at 10 o'clock tonight.
Now, people with mental health problems are being failed by the benefits system. That's the message from one Scarborough man who suffered from depression, addiction and schizophrenia for 15 years.
Andrew Carr spent 4 years in hospital due to his problems. He was finally discharged last year, but ended up back in hospital with a breakdown after it took 8 months to get his disability living allowance paid. Carla Fowler has this.
Andrew Carr has schizophrenia, depression and addictions. In 2011, after 4 years in hospital, he was at last well enough to be discharged and to set up home independently. But the disability living allowance he was entitled to wasn't paid to him. Despite sending off for forms and phoning up the benefits office, for 8 months Andy was without financial support. He had to borrow money from family and organisations, and just weeks ago had another breakdown and was re-hospitalised.
I was sat in the court and my sister came up with the money to keep me out of going to court. It basically has been a running battle, and it made me it just made me stressed out basically. It really put the pressure on because I wasn't getting that help that I needed.
It seems Andy's application simply fell through the net. Over recent years, the benefits system has grown more complex and harder to navigate, especially for people with mental health issues.
But they're not working fast enough to help people. They're not concentrating on who needs the money, and as if it's not important. And it is important, you know, that people with disabilities of all sorts are helped.
In desperation, Marie went to the Citizens Advice Bureau in Scarborough. Their legal specialist finally got Andy's claim accepted and his benefits backdated.
There's no question that Andy qualifies for DLA, but you still have to go through this long application process. Someone with a diagnosis of schizophrenia, claims need to be targeted and they need to be prioritised. And in Andy's case, if people aren't getting the support they need, then people will end up in hospital, back in residential care, you know, at a cost far greater than the basic benefits.
Well, I wouldn't have stood a chance. I'd either be dead or I'd be on the streets. And without Citizens Advice, I couldn't be where I am today.
The bureaucracy of benefits was an obstacle Andy couldn't overcome alone. Now he's speaking out to help others like him, falling through the cracks of a system that's supposed to support them. Carla Fowler, BBC Look North, Scarborough.
Well, we asked the Department of Work and Pensions to talk about the delays that had such a devastating effect on Andrew.
Yes, and their response was that the disability living allowance has been replaced and that the new benefit will recognise all the needs of people with severe mental health conditions. I'm joined now by David Smith, who's the Chief Executive of the mental health charity Mind, and they're based in York. I think it's very brave of Andrew to put himself out there and admit he's got these mental health problems on behalf of other people who he thinks might be suffering.
Absolutely, Krista. In York Mind, we support 400 or 500 people each year.
Just in York?
Just in York, yes, with mental health difficulties. And this is a common problem that we hear regularly from most of our different projects.
We've already had a call from someone who said that they've experienced similar problems as well. So the question is it a widespread problem, this?
It is. And it's not just in disability living allowance. Disability living allowance is a benefit that's been running for a long time now. It's one of those benefits that the government are reviewing and they're looking to replace in the future. We know that there are long delays in having decisions made with DLA, but it's also with other benefits, other disability benefits like employment support allowance. People are often waiting 12 months, 14 months.
But if people are suffering from depression or a serious mental illness, this surely must add extra stress. I mean, Andrew went back into hospital.
It does. And that's something that we often hear from the people that we're supporting. It's not just the stress of making the claim and finding all the information they need to make the claim. It's waiting for the decision to be made. And we often hear about people who have had a decision and they've been found fit for work. And these are people like Andrew who are living with quite serious mental health conditions.
Well, in the past, they've been actually he was actually helped in a hospital. Is it because of living in the community that is the new way of coping with such problems?
Partly it is. And people with serious mental health problems who are living out in the community, we need to make sure that that support is there for them so that they can access their benefits, get good advice and get the support they need to get the claims sorted.
David, well, they can always contact you at Mind,
yes.
can't they?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Campaigning has gathered pace today in the Bradford West by-election. Labour and the Conservatives have been out in the constituency with their candidates.
The election, triggered by the resignation of the sitting Labour MP Marsha Singh because of ill health, is in less than 3 weeks.
Nice big smiles, everyone.